Did you like it? So it's been 11 hours playing. Your home has to understand it, so you hear what you say.
Welcome, dear readers, to Cover My Ass, where baffling books are reviewed but not read by yours truly. My name is Khaki.
And I'm Kay, and remember, we only judge a book by its cover. Khaki? Khaki!
Here I am, haha, look out below.
Whoa.
Yeah, I told you I was getting good at rappelling.
Wow, I did not see you up there.
No, I'm a stealthy skywalker. I've got my camouflage made out of half-burned... okay, I should have used the ceiling tiles. So I am all recovered from the book plague that I'm...
Yeah, you get used to it after a while.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's like malaria, that you just take a shot every now and again, because I have concocted rather a cool remedy that seems to be doing the trick.
How's that?
Well, you told me to stay away from the red ink, and as I was suffering from the paper delirium, I sort of became colorblind for a little while. Oh. I woke up and I was just, my face was covered in red ink. I felt amazing. That cinnamon flavor, delicious.
We call it fireball around here, but...
That's all going great. I do wonder, I bequeath to you several things like my book teepee, which as a skywalker I no longer need because I'm comfortably traversing the ladders over the tops of the...
You've gone hammock, I see.
Yeah, I don't need any of that. That's for the below people, the grounders as we like to call them. I could use my harpoon back though.
Oh, okay. I think I have it here in my pocket. Here, let me... here we go.
Okay, the ballpoint pen, thank you, but where's the stick?
Oh.
That was an essential part of my harpoon.
The stick. Oh.
Oh, wait, hold on. I wanted to discuss something with you about the book teepee. I want to turn it into a bit of a welcome center for visitors. I want to use it mostly as as bait to try and trap the... Should have written that down. To try and trap the Velociraptor. Now, this is...
Wait, are they back?
Presumably so, because I found several dead bookworms with the lead cores torn out. And this may just be the red ink speaking that has given me a great sense of hubris, but I want to hunt me a Velociraptor. I could see that you're fully on board with this.
With that, I'll get the glue traps ready, because it's going to be a bit of a pain without...
So you've done this before?
Well, they pop up every once in a while, and you really have to crack down on them hard, because they make a mess of the filing system. Pulling books out willy-nilly, and that would not be so bad if they just pulled them out and let them drop, but they put them back in the wrong place, and that really rubs me the wrong way.
A worthy foe for my newly emboldened
I'll get my
aggressive stuff.
Let's
do this.
I'll give the infrared scope a polish.
Hunting we shall go.
Get the glue traps, and then...
I've made my home here over the past 3 months.
I still don't understand why you're not using the guest quarters.
Marked my territory. The what?
The guest quarters.
Wait, what did you say?
Off aisle 12.
No, it's not ringing any bells. But yes, I've marked my territory here. I'm just...
Yes, I've noticed.
I don't know, this red ink, it's really doing it for me.
All right.
That's probably not going to be a problem. So this week, while I've been recuperating, you recommended a book for us to read.
Yes, I left it out for you to read. Yes. And it's a complete novel, not just that, because it says that on the cover.
Yeah, I really want you to know that it is complete. And by the way, for the readers at home, if you look on your podcasting device right now, you should be seeing the cover of today's book. And if not, you can check the show notes for the link.
So we are reviewing a book by Gordon R. Dickson. Time to teleport. That's it.
Time to teleport.
What we're seeing is our chief hero, Davy Johansson. He's reaching up and looking at one of the teleportals.
Because it's set in what seems to be some kind of underwater dome with there's bits of technology and lounge chairs.
Yes. Well, the technology, I suppose, is the teleportation machine. There's the beer chest set on the table.
The beer booze, the chest.
Well, yeah,
set.
the beer,
yes,
that's
the beer
right,
chest
that's right.
That's right.
It starts with, and it turns into booze chest later if it's like for the advanced matches.
That's the high stakes version,
because
for every piece you take of your opponent, you have to also drink it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a self-leveling kind of thing.
Very clever
the pawns
game.
Are like small shots of beer, but like the queen is a large big shot of hard liquor. It's like you take your opponent's queen. She's a straight
whiskey sour.
Yeah, you take your opponent's queen, you're going to be feeling it.
This is such a good game. We should definitely play this game, though.
Okay.
Our heroine up there in the portal, Pamela. She's a bit of all right, isn't she?
She is a classic looker. She's got the blonde, curly hair, the big red lips, and
sort of smoky eyes, and
and although, to be honest, I think that Davy's expression is more one of anguish than it is of longing. no, what have you done to me, rather than, please let me be in your presence.
No, but this is because of the probably because of the extremely low oxygen environment that he finds himself in under the sea like that. That he is really upset that he's being abandoned by Pamela, but you just can't get very upset when you're bordering on anoxia. So he's like, no, Pamela, don't go.
And I think the other guy,
no, just reaching up, but unable to bring himself to stand up.
And I think, I think the other guy there, that must be George, I suppose.
George?
He's just laying.
Is that what your notes say?
He's just laying back there. No, he's been winning the chess game because the way he's lying back in that chair, he is completely ferschnickered at this point. He's been doing very well at the chess, and he's just like, I can't be bothered.
This is such a good game, Kay. We have to play this. But you called him George, but I think you're mistaken, since you don't appear to have any notes to back that up. So I think his name, you're probably referring to Zoltan.
Zoltan, of course, yes. George
Maybe.
is the other. George is the teleporting Luddite that we are going to occur later in the book.
That's right. Yes, that must be the George that you're thinking of. Because this takes place... They can hear this, you know.
That's fine.
You've even put arrows on the notes. So this takes place during the science experiment.
Yes. The experiment is like, how long can we play beer chess for?
I don't know why I wrote that on two separate notes. It seems so strange. But yes, during the science experiment where Pamela commits her betrayal.
Oh.
Yes, she's encouraged them to take their beer chest up to booze chest, Davy and Zoltan.
Right, and once they're both verschnickered, she decides, like, I'm going to get off.
She decides, time to teleport.
And she's going to jumps through the portal and disappears.
Yeah.
Leaving.
Because they don't know where she is, and we go back and forth between
Zoltan and Davy.
Meanwhile, following Pamela's adventures, as she tries to make use of this teleporting technology to lead a more interesting life than she did as an assistant to these
Davy.
two alcoholics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
The first scene that I really enjoyed was when she goes on that date with the pianist. I liked her sexually liberated attitude because she herself was trained as a scientist. But when she became disillusioned enough that she wanted to make use of this technology and go on an adventure, like, her idea of adventure is still fairly, like, down to earth. There was this pianist that she used to date.
It seems to be like this 30s thing about a woman going out and finding that she actually has agency and that she can, like, move around and do things, and she's not dependent on either her father or her husband for approval of this.
Yeah,
it's a very liberating thing, I suppose, especially considering the time this book came out.
Yeah,
it was. I think it's very empowering.
And I liked that about her. And the pianist, do you remember his name?
Oh, no, remind me.
Oh, then it was probably Michel.
While Pamela and Michel are out enjoying the good life, this leaves...
At a fancy restaurant.
Ooh.
God, I've got so many notes today.
Yes.
Do you remember the cuisine that they serve at that fancy restaurant?
Wasn't it pufferfish sushi?
Oh yes, kind of a link to our crab adventure last week.
Oh, it was a bit of that, like.
But yes, as you say, then they cut back to
Davy and Zoltan, who are left to deal with the teleporting machine powered by the fish soul extract, which leaves them being haunted even by the fish right movement, who are vehemently protesting the fact that this teleportation technology is being rolled out on a large scale.
Yes, because it does require a lot of dead fish.
Right.
It requires,
this explains the underwater teleportation base, because it kind of just sucks fish in. It lures them in with feeding them regular, and
this elemental, almost animistic approach to physics, where water is the universal conductor and fish are suffused by it.
Water concentrators.
Yes, exactly.
They concentrate the mental water waves. Speaking about last week's episode, I really enjoyed the fact...
Oh, we're doing continuity now.
Well,
by the way, last week's episode was crabs, the human sacrifice.
That's the one.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed the fact that it was actually suggested to us by one of our listeners after we recorded the episode.
Was crazy. Somewhere one of our readers at home indeed sent us that cover as a suggestion, and I was like, what the fuck? We have just recorded that. I thought it was just me and all the red ink that I've been snorting.
Snorting the red ink is maybe not the best thing. It's best intravenously.
Oh, but then you dissolve in some crushed up moon rock, because I've still got a few little bumps left over.
Moon rock is for
back in episode 1. If we're doing continuity anyway.
Sniffing.
Moon rock is for sniffing.
The red ink
okay.
is for injecting.
And then the bookworm like livers, they're good for like chewing.
Bookworm livers are just great if you just like fry them up in a pan with a bit of oil and onions.
And some of the leftover mirin from the...
mirin goes with everything.
But hey, maybe once I hunt myself down some Velibiraptors, I'm going to have a more expansive kitchen.
It's like halfway between firm fish meat and chicken.
Interesting. Well, I like a firm fish, which Pamela does apparently not. She's entirely sick and tired.
Well, otherwise she wouldn't be with Michael, wouldn't she?
Being, Michelle.
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
well,
Michelle,
that doesn't last very long. I mean, I like that this is her attitude. She goes on this adventure, but she left out of dissatisfaction, and I think that's actually quite a good life lesson. Dissatisfaction is what she takes with her. Like, as soon as she recognizes that wherever she is not to her liking, she decides, well, time to teleport, and nopes out of the situation again. And just abandons it for the next thing.
Well, I mean, but I think that's the theme of the book where we're hitting on at this point. It's like, you can't heal in an environment that made you sick, and it turns out that the thing in that environment is her approach to the. No, it's always her approach to the situation, which makes her decide that like time to nope out again.
She's not willing to give things a chance.
That too.
Yeah.
And if it's not perfect right away, then it's...
So there's one instance that happens fairly early on after this, where she shows that she does give situations a second chance. She goes back to her studies to be a physicist, trying to explore this teleportation technology that she's, absconded with.
She has the controller that allows her to do the teleportation.
Oh yes, the installation is in the underwater base,
and
but time and space don't matter when you're teleporting.
Yeah, exactly. It's leaving Dave in Zoltan to deal with the technical fallout. So they kind of like have to deal with her occasionally putting a massive drain on the system whenever she does another teleport out of wherever she is.
She decides that it's time to teleport.
Yeah, and they're having to work on keeping the system charged, and it's a fish massacre.
It's atrocious.
Yeah,
it's
the trawlers are like
pumping
circling
the funnels
above,
full of
circling above the base and trying to like keep
it's
it
blowing
going.
in the sharks that you see on the cover as well, just because there's so much chum. Yeah, they're absolutely
loving it. I mean, they don't care if the soul of the fish has already been sucked out; it's still good eating. So
but of course, Pamela's on a mission to figure out a way to do this without requiring all these fish souls.
Right, because George and his teleport Luddites, like they're massively protesting the whole...
Forgotten about George and the teleport Luddites, because that was her lab partner. George was introduced, someone with whom she accomplished great success, that I wrote on the same notes that that the lab partner and the great success, but like she thought that he was jealous. Fuck, I've got a lot of notes, but I'm reusing an earlier note. It was actually a betrayal because George was part of the teleport Luddites.
Well, I mean, his drive is what attracted her to him, and then it was only later when she finds out that it's his passion against fish slaughter.
She's pretty vindictive about this part.
Yes.
Like, George thinks that he's setting her up to fail in a rather public demonstration of the experiment, and he's calling for her to flip the switch, and he's challenging her like, this is going to fail.
Do it.
And then she decides it's time to teleport, and she leaves him holding the hot potato. That brings us to her next scene where she finds herself. She takes employment in, this is the first one where we're reusing notes, at a fancy restaurant, where she is rather a good saucier, which is a specialist in the production of sauces.
Saucers.
Sauce.
Am I confusing pottery with restaurantry?
Depends right there. If you've got fucking notes to support that, she's at this fancy restaurant where she's a good saucier. I thought you knew about chef stuff.
Yeah, I do.
I thought you knew what a okay.
I'm just being obstinate at this point.
Either way, she's an absolute sorcerer.
Yes.
Pamela actually finds a measure of peace. I think it's the same restaurant where she went on the fancy date.
I think it's a different time, though. I think there's a little bit... The book title doesn't allude to it, and it's never really explicitly mentioned, but I think there's a lot of time travel.
It is in my notes down the line, but
I might have
so that's a spoiler.
About that part.
You're just reticent to give spoilers.
Yeah, that'll be it. can't have proper place travel without time travel, or the other way around.
Yeah, the physics it's all the same.
Yes, that's true. And it's like if you teleport, then like the Earth will have moved in the meantime, or something like that.
That's a very good point.
So you have to
that's why the launch platform is under the sea. Like that's maintaining a point of reference.
Seas are a very stable point of reference. Yes,
right.
It's like the water neutralizes the chrono-technical waves and keeps them balanced out and
more.
Just
Keep going.
For a stable environment in which
there's so much more to go. I believe in UK. You can do this.
Chromatographic waves are going into
waves. I love it.
Biased polarization caused by the diachromatic nature of the water molecule.
You're doing so fucking high five, mate.
Yeah, what do you think about her reasons for teleporting out of her successful career?
I can't blame her for this one, honestly. Things were going great. She was enjoying the simple life. Her experience with physics and chemistry made her an excellent saucier. Yeah. She was appreciated by her peers. She was enjoying the work.
She never had a sauce split on her.
Until the owner brought in a celebrity chef to shake things up. The Gordon Ramsay type. Yes. The abusive, high energy.
Yeah, chef.
He openly mocked our Pamela. He did the thing where he put the 2 loaves of bread against her ears and asked, "What are you?"
"I'm an idiot sandwich."
Chef.
Yes.
And so she decided that it was
time to teleport.
So, like, I would have done the same in this one. Would you have stuck around if someone put 2 slices of bread to your ears?
Well, it depends. Is it the English kitchen nightmares or the American kitchen nightmares, Gordon Ramsay? Because the English kitchen nightmares, yes, totally. The American kitchen nightmares, not so much.
Because if it was the English kitchen nightmares, Gordon Ramsay, and he put the loaves against your head, what he really wanted was a little kiss.
I would have said like I'm an idiot butty, but you know.
Yeah, and then you'd have a nice wee laugh, and then you'd go back to making some good food.
It's like the English Gordon Ramsay was like, okay, and he really wants to help these people, and whenever it doesn't work, it's because they're like twats being obnoxious about it. And the American one is just like, we need more shouting and cursing, and the editing is just like atrocious. And the American's like, we are going to show you this. We are now showing you this. Next, we're going to show you that. We just showed you that thing. It's like, oh god, it's so irritating. It's like 10 minutes of material, and they like edit it out to half an hour. It's insane.
that's a terrible.
That's an idiot sandwich thing to do.
That's an idiot sandwich thing to do, because what you should do instead is record
an hour or so,
52 minutes, and then just reduce it to however long this episode has been thus far.
I mean, that's.
Do you remember when she teleported into 16th century England and was immediately involved in a witch trial? Now,
of course, it's like the latter half of the book.
For me, it had the effect, like between this and the Gordon Ramsay style scenario, I'm totally on board with her, as you've said, noping out of these of these situations.
Well, she's clearly dealing with her whole fish fingers episode at the point of the witch trials, which is like, you know, what
fish fingers episode, you say?
Well, yes, it's like from the restaurant, you know. It's like it's the whole scene that prompted the idiot sandwich thing. It's like when she like clearly misunderstood what fish fingers means, and it's not flounder gloves.
Yeah.
Of course, in the 16th century, a woman showing up with flounders on her fingers is really not a good thing to be doing.
I'm amazed that Mr. Dickson managed to stretch that scene out so very long, because it was really an open and shut case.
It was.
She came there as obviously a reverse mermaid. Nevertheless, at this point, I'm on board with Pamela's philosophy of, what was it? There's a beautiful story of the Koran that I like, where there's these. What was the story? They were persecuted in their country, but they for being Muslim stayed with their faith until finally they were tried and killed, and they showed up in heaven where they expected to be taken in as martyrs, because we stood our ground and we kept our faith. And the angel asks them, well, hold on, was the world not big enough? Her next time travel trip takes her to the French Revolution, where she nope, that was a note for later on, but now I've done it, where she's now a jewel thief. I originally wrote that down in a different order, but
that's
I must have misinterpreted.
I mean, it's a good career for her. This is where the teleportation narrative breaks down a little bit, because she starts like using her like teleportation thing to pop in and out of the various places that she's wanting to make her scores in. Of course, this is also when the teleportation system starts becoming unreliable. You can see comical situations of her showing up in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oops.
Yes, I won't spoil those for our we're still planning on reading this book.
Yes, that's right, because we've always cared a lot about spoilers. The one thing that we consider very important is if you ever read Time to Teleport, you're
not going to feel like we spoiled the book for you.
No, we're gonna preserve the surprise. So even when we talk about the ending, which I think is about time, after she's, as you mentioned, the teleportation technology that she's been overusing, utterly depleting the population of fish in whichever century this takes place.
It's going to run out.
Until she believes that she's entirely stuck.
But she's in the Bastille and she's looking at the guillotine and it's just like...
And she's finally contemplating the value of sticking with a situation and seeing it through to the end.
Right.
Because as she's rotting
sticking with her choices, facing up to the consequences.
But now that she's in the Bastille, as you say, she thinks back on all these previous scenarios, the date that she went on with the pianist, and even the Teleport Luddite George, that was her betraying partner. Like, all of those situations were ones that she could have turned to greater advantage than where she finds herself now when she's finally run out of options. And it's at that point that she's whisked away, despite the fact that we've seen the teleportation technology crumble in the absence of fish in whatever century Davy Johnson... How did you say that name again?
Johansson.
Johansson. Is he, like, Finnish or something?
Finnish.
Fuck you, Kay. Don't you speak Little Finnish?
Minä en puhu suomea.
Which is?
I don't speak any Finnish.
Oh, well, ja nie говорю по-русски. Which is when she's whisked away by an older teleporter. Do you? Oh no, you don't have the names written down.
Pauline, yes.
Oh, that's right. That's Pauline, who
I still suspect is actually an older version of Pamela herself.
I had the same thing.
Yeah,
I had the same thing.
There's too many similarities.
But she embraces young Pamela and she tries to teach them what she's been contemplating, the value of continuity. And over a meal of sushi, mostly sashimi.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of fish there.
She tries to remind Pamela of the lessons that Pamela has been learning, that you kind of have to stick with the situation.
I think it is. I think Pauline is Pamela because she just kind of like hammers home the points and like...
She knows so much about Pamela's adventure.
Yeah, and it turns into a bit of a moral lesson, which I think is a bit
tiresome and lecturing. Lecturing.
That's the word. Like, it's almost like the author is trying to ram home their moral point right at the end of the book, if it wasn't clear enough already.
Which is why I kind of liked that Pamela even gave almost a middle finger to the writer when she embraced Pauline in a tearful embrace and then casually sort of unlocked the high-tech necklace that Pauline was wearing and whispered into her ear, "Time to teleport," and vanished. And that's the end of the book. And I think that's such a great fucking ending to the book.
Yeah,
like, fuck your lesson. Like, I'm just going to teleport some more.
And I'm out of here.
If you think it's so important to stick and deal with the consequence of your actions,
deal with it.
You go and deal with it. And because for me, it's time to teleport. I was in. I was riveted throughout, and that ending. I am on Team Pamela. Yep. I feel so bad for Pauline. I don't know how that particular time paradox is going to resolve itself. I like to think that she's still hopping through time and space, just noping out of anything that
it's like if it gets too hard to live with, it's like
time to teleport.
And
that's going to be my philosophy now as well. Now, I don't have teleporting capability, but as you saw when I came in earlier, I can zip line and
I was going to say you're pretty
repel pretty well.
I'm kind of concerned about the hooks that you're screwing into my hardwood bookcases, but other than that...
Hey, they can handle it. Like, they're pretty sturdy, and I'm using the counterweights.
Still making holes in them.
I'm also decreasing the bookworm population, so the total number of holes that you have to deal with is probably lower if you balance it out. So how are we gonna rate this book?
I'm going to give this book 2 fish out of 5 loaves.
Oh, that's really good. But what kind of number is that? Because we always close with we have to figure out 2 fish out of 5 loaves for a show that's been so much about continuity. I mean, we started out with an opener that was probably incomprehensible to new listeners. We've actually been referring to previous episodes. The whole story has been about rejecting continuity, and now you're breaking with our tradition, not even waiting for us to argue about what kind of number we're going. we are entering a new future here. Episode 12 is where everything changes.
The new frontier.
Yeah.
Time to teleport out of here.
Now that we're leaving the past behind us, for the readers at home, we'd love to hear what you thought so far, whether you listened to anything before this or whether this is your first time. So please drop us a line sometime. We're Cover My Asscast on Twitter and Gmail and Facebook if that's your thing. Or even better, leave us a nice review on iTunes or wherever, because we really do appreciate your help. Now, Kay, what do you have in store for us next time?
Okay, next time we're reviewing the timeless classic by Eugene Trevisaz.
Can't say I've heard of this person before.
No, the book's called The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig.
Oh, I am into... is that a real one?
Of course it is.
Oh my god! Well, maybe we'll actually do that one this time. I mean, we're living on the edge, we're changing things up, so that about covers it for this week. Thank you for joining us at Cover My Ass, where battling books are reviewed but not read by yours truly. My name's Khaki.
And I'm Kay, and remember, we only judge a book by its cover.